Fingus, and I'm the Homelessness Liaison for Trinity United Church in Cobourg, Ontario. Over the past 2 years, my community has noticed a dramatic increase in visible homelessness. This increase directly impacts my church community, as there are up to 8 people sleeping on our front steps every night. This has sparked controversy and conflict within our larger community. Not only this, but our affordable housing waitlist is now 10 years long. It is because of this that I have conducted a year-long research project to determine the best course of action for my small town. Although this project was focused on Cobourg and Northumberland County, my findings can be extrapolated to other small towns and rural communities across Canada. Although the amount of research on homelessness in small communities is limited, there has thankfully been research conducted on larger cities in Canada, so I would recommend reading about the At-Home Chez Soi project that studied the Housing First model in 5 Canadian cities if you're interested in the city perspective. To find out what actions my town should take, I employed a grounded theory approach. This entailed a thorough literature review, followed by 2 rounds of interviews. The first round was conducted to discover themes and general topics, and the second round was conducted to fill in gaps and saturate the themes. The 11 interviews were conducted over Zoom over a 2-month period. The 11 interviewees were chosen to ensure a variety of perspectives. I interviewed 4 government officials, 1 from each level of government, various non-governmental organizations, a local community member, and a person with lived experience of homelessness. That data was sorted into 6 categories: affordable housing, income, applying models to a rural context, systematic barriers, mental health and addiction, and community relations. These themes were then connected to the literature review and synthesized into a final paper. My conclusions have been condensed into 7 solutions. The first solution is to provide incentives to encourage private developers to build affordable housing. Providing more affordable housing will reduce housing prices, increase the vacancy rate, and lower the affordable housing waitlist. Providing incentives could include things like inclusionary zoning and tax breaks. Moving on to my second theme of income, one of my interviewees claimed that the Ontario Disability Support Program really just keeps people in poverty at the end of the day. There is an extreme discrepancy between the amount of money an individual can receive from government aid and the cost of living. For example, in Ontario, the average 1-bedroom apartment costs over $1,000. However, the Ontario Work Support Program supplies individuals with only $735 a month. The simplest solution for this is to implement a basic income guarantee. This is the easiest solution administratively and would not just help the homeless, but also those in extreme poverty. The third solution is to employ a centralized homelessness system. This would be a homelessness hub for the community with short-term supplies such as food and clothing and immediate mental health supports, and caseworkers to help with long-term solutions. This center should be open extended hours in a downtown location so that it's easily accessible. The fourth solution is to employ a true Housing First model. Housing First is the most heavily recommended model in the literature and has shown promising results for both rural communities and larger city centers. As opposed to traditional models, Housing First starts all participants with immediate, permanent housing with no prerequisites. Housing First does not mean housing only, and all participants are also provided with ongoing, consistent supports for things such as mental health, employment, and childcare. Throughout my interviews, the most common theme was a lack of communication between both non-governmental organizations and the various levels of government. To combat this, permanent regional planning tables should be implemented. They would create long-term solutions and promote open communication. nurse from the regional health unit, she stated that the number one cause of homelessness is trauma. It is therefore imperative that trauma-informed approaches be implemented across all support systems, including emergency services and the centralized homelessness system mentioned earlier. Training in trauma-informed approaches would increase the quality of care that participants receive. The final solution lies in community partnership. One of the harshest realities for people experiencing homelessness is they can often feel like outcasts within their own communities. One way to integrate people experiencing homelessness into the community is through community activities such as choirs, soccer teams, and book clubs. Through this system, people registered with the centralized system would be eligible for free membership with any of the community partner organizations. As these organizations are meant to serve all community members, they not only provide a place for purpose and expression for those experiencing homelessness, they also normalize homelessness for the wider community and foster interpersonal relationships to create support systems. Churches have a significant role to play throughout these solutions and in their own initiatives. First, churches should ensure that where there is community partnership, such as in the last solution, they are included on those lists. Many people would benefit from the faith and community that the church shares. Another way that churches can help is through education, specifically through staff and volunteer training workshops. Churches are in every community. They often act as the hub of that community. They have long opening hours and are generally considered to be a welcoming space. It is because of that the church staff and volunteers are some of the most likely members to encounter those who are experiencing homelessness. A workshop that gives brief mental health and addictions training, including signs of drug use and panic attacks, and the tools and resources needed to alleviate those situations would be extremely helpful. Additionally, it would be beneficial for churches to have a list of both short-term and long-term resources that they can forward to people. Churches should also consider backing some important homelessness issues through letter writing campaigns. Please consider supporting the policies that include basic income guarantee, government-subsidized mental health care, housing first, affordable housing, and publicly funded rehab and addictions programming. One of the things that I was frequently told this year is that there are no solutions for rural homelessness. I disagree. Through the implementation of some of these solutions, homelessness is at the very minimum reducible. I implore you to discover the best actions for your community and help our neighbors through challenges we are privileged not to experience.